Hey peoples of the interwebs, welcome back to part 2 of me redesigning My Little Pony characters. In the last video I drew Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy and Rarity, and in this video I'll be doing the other half of the main 6. That of course being Twilight Sparkle, Rainbowdash and Applejack. But if you want to see what the other half of the main 6's redesigns look like, check out the last video, and anyways, let's get into these drawings, shall we? Anyways, let's start things off strong by talking a bit about Rainbowdash. Rainbowdash is a pretty tomboyish, bold and competitive kind of character. She enjoys flying really fast, so fast that she creates these things called sonic rain booms, which I think is like essentially she breaks the sound barrier, which will come up in her redesign a little bit later. In the show she works as a weather pony, essentially controlling the weather, but she has dreams of joining a flying sports team called the Wonderbolts. When it comes to her design, I really wanted the tomboyish nature that she has to show through quite strongly. I mostly did this through keeping her hair quite short and giving her a more stocky build. Not saying that you can't be extremely feminine and girly if you have a stocky build, I just think it suits her character. I also made her wings quite a bit bigger than the other Pegasi I've drawn. I thought it kind of fit with the fact that she could fly really fast and kind of gave an excuse to why she could do that in the first place. Other than that, one of the big changes I made is I gave her all these scars all over like the back parts of her body. In the show, she pushes herself to fly so fast this one time, she creates a giant explosion dubbed a rain boom because it like explodes in rainbows. And I think an interesting thing is that if she didn't escape completely unscathed and that she was scarred from the explosion of the rain boom. And because of the supernatural, like not realistic aspect of these exploding rainbows, the scars are kind of faded like rainbow, like prismatic almost scars. You'll see what I mean in a second when the colouring of those actually comes through. But yeah, I just really liked how they look. I thought they made her look really interesting, and yeah. I also darkened up her skin tone quite a bit. Like, I completely got rid of her really light blue body. I liked how it made her scar parts stand out a lot more because of how light I did them. But I also really struggled drawing Rainbowdash's hair with her body and not making the two colours clash, so making it darker just made everything a lot easier. Another more minor change I made is I kept the warm colours of her hair up in like her head and the cooler colours down by her tail. It's just another thing that made her hair easier to do because I cannot for the life of me get it to look good when it is just rainbow. All in all, I think Rainbowdash is the character design that I have changed the most out of everyone. Like, she just looks nothing like her original, like, character design. But I think she still stayed pretty recognizable, so I'm pretty happy with how she turned out in the end. Another thing I kind of did is I flirted with the idea of putting rainbows in the feathers of her wings. I thought it would look cool, but I couldn't get it to look quite right. I liked the darker feathers I have there right now. But you'll see in a second that I add some rainbow parts to it, and I don't know, I made them really faded so they're only slightly rainbow, and I think that turned out nice. Anyways, I'm slowly running out of things to talk about, so let's start talking about her cutie mark. You can see that on a sketch on the side. I went with kind of the rain boom kind of thing. It's just a much bigger part of her character in this redesign, so I thought it was only fitting that her cutie mark reflected that. Adding to this, Rainbowdash is kind of the reason the other main 6 got their cutie marks, as they all kind of had it due to the rain boom that happened. Anyways, that's my Rainbowdash redesign. I hope you guys liked how she turned out. I'm pretty proud of her, so yeah. Alright, next pony up is Applejack. Applejack is a pretty hard-working, honest and dependable kind of character, with family and responsibility being some of the most important things to her. She does a lot of work on her family's farm, primarily harvesting apples from the orchards. Applejack is actually the redesign that took me the least amount of time to do. I had a really easy time making her design. I knew I wanted her build to be a lot more stockier and like muscular than the other ponies. Just, you know, due to all the farm work she's doing. I also shortened her hair quite a bit. I just think it makes more sense for it to be up and out of the way, especially if she's going to be like pulling wagons and stuff. You wouldn't want it getting stuck in the wheels. I also gave her a bit of a longer, fluffier hooves. It's just that kind of style of like big horse. I don't exactly know what breed they are, but they've got like the big fluffy feet and are just like huge horses. And so I took a lot of inspiration from them. I gave her a bandana around her neck because I thought it looked cute, and I of course had to add her titular cowboy hat. Though I did give it a little tie to keep it on so it doesn't like go flying off in the wind or anything. Color-wise, she's pretty similar. We kept the orange and like the lighter blonde hair, though she's a bit more splotchy and like spotty now. I thought it gave a cool excuse for why the horse has freckles, you know, because it's just all of the speckling all over her body. I kind of did a bit of this in her older redesign, but I kept the colours a lot more orange and similar toned this time, and I like it a lot more, because I do not like the white feet of her old design. Which reminds me, I talked about this in like the first part of the video, but I realized I haven't actually mentioned it here. I've done these redesigns before. I did them like 2 years ago, so these are like remakes of old designs. Applejack and Rainbowdash I've only redesigned once, but the other 4 I've actually done, well, twice before this newest run, so hey, we get to look back at all my old art and see how much I've improved over the past few years. For Applejack's cutie mark, I had to keep it, you know, pretty standard for Applejack. I wasn't gonna take away the apples, they have to be there. Her name is Applejack, it only makes sense. But I didn't want to give her just an apple and leave it there. Like, her old cutie mark is just 3 apples, it's kind of boring, so I went with this like, there's still 3 parts of an apple, but they're like sliced and they're different colours. Because, well, there's different colours of apples on the farm. Anywho's, that's my Applejack redesign. I hope y'all like her. I think she turned out pretty cute, so yeah, let's move on to the next one. So last but not least, let's do Twilight Sparkle. Twilight is pretty much the main character of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. She starts off in the series kind of learning how to make friends, and then later on becomes the Princess of Friendship, the magic of which transformed her into an alicorn, which essentially means she has new wings to go along with her horn. She's a pretty intelligent, organized, and very curious kind of character with a really strong sense of responsibility and tends to stress out when things don't go her way. This is actually my 3rd time redesigning Twilight Sparkle, and honestly, she's always been one of the redesigns that I've never been the most happy with. I like redesigning her hair because I'm always quite happy with how the colours on her hair turn out, but I cannot get like the rest of her to look the way I want it to. Mostly her body colour. I don't know, I just can't get it to match the rest of her. That is something I'll be working on in this newest redesign. I want to try to make the colours a little bit more cohesive and actually look a bit nicer together. Anyways, apart from that changes I've made, I gave her glasses back. I always tend to draw her with glasses, and I wasn't going to change that now, though I did actually tie her glasses onto her this time, because normally I just have them randomly sitting on her face, but this time they're actually tied to the back of her hair. I like to think the ribbon is tied into the back of her bun and is also acting kind of like a hair tie, just to keep the glasses from falling off. I also gave her my standard half updo, though this time it's got a giant bun in the back like I mentioned before. I just like how it looks when she's got a half updo. I think it suits her character, though I don't know if I could actually tell you why. I've just always done it that way. Also, something you might notice is she's got a bit more of a detailed horn compared to when I did like Rarity. Check out the last video if you haven't seen that one yet. Anyway, I just like to think that the magic that turns the ponies into alicorns is what gives them like a fancier horn. It's just like the magic is infused with their horns, so it becomes a bit more fancy and like magical. Also, another big change I made is, like I mentioned before, I'm changing her coat colour. I never really liked Twilight Sparkle's colour, and you can see it in the fact that I'm constantly changing her colour every time I redesign her. I have never liked how I've done it though. I always think I've gone too light, so this time I took it completely opposite direction. I've gone dark. I think it kind of fits her name a bit more, with her name being Twilight Sparkle. You know, it's in the twilight, it's like going into nighttime. The darker colours I think just fit a bit more. You can also see me doing something similar in the back with her hair, where it's much darker at the top and much lighter at the bottom, just to kind of give the twilight kind of sunsetty scene. I just gave her lots of little sparkles in her hair, not quite as many as I'll do in the princesses later, but enough that it still reads that she's an alicorn and she's got the kind of same magical hair that the other ones do. Honestly, I'm just really stoked how her hair came out. I always like drawing Twilight Sparkle's hair. I like the colours and I like making them like a slight gradient, maybe adding a little bit more gold in there. They just look so shiny and nice, you know? Also, taking it back for a moment, her glasses and stuff, I like to make really gold. I just think the gold looks so good with the like dark purple color scheme. It just looks so nice. Like, to me. I don't know if it looks nice to you guys, but to me, it looks great. Anyway, apart from that, I didn't make too many other changes. I did, of course, change her cutie mark, just like I've done with the other ones. I kept it pretty much the same, though it's kind of got like this orbiting thing around it. Like, I don't know, I like to think that it has like these rings just to represent her friends orbiting her. Anyway, that's my Twilight redesign. I hope you like how she turned out. I'm pretty proud of her. And that's the main 6 done! Yay, that's the main 6 done. I'm kind of surprised that I'm actually managing to get this video out when I said I would. I said 1 to 2 weeks. It's been like 2. We're pretty good. I intend to try to keep a bit more of a schedule to my posting this year. I think 2 weeks works fine, so hey, maybe I'll post something else in another 2 weeks. Regardless, I hope you all liked my redesign, and like and subscribe if you guys want to see more. I do intend to do a few more of these, though I'm going to mix it up with some other stuff. So my next video won't be pony themed, but the one after that just might be. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!